I have experienced no country that is as kind as Saudi. I mean, even like you go to surrounding Gulf countries, it's very different from Saudi. People here, and not just locals, but when the locals and the expats, one thing that I've always just noticed, people are just very welcoming here. And I mean, everybody that I know, when they come here, they never want to leave. People want 1 year, 2 year, 20 years. They don't want to leave. And plus, on top of just being like a very kind place, people like that. People want to feel accepted and get along. Everybody's very helpful. If I was anywhere, if something happened to me on the streets and I asked somebody for help, they would help me. They wouldn't, ignore me. That's not happening in the rest of the world. So people like this.
Yeah.
Stand by. 3, 2, 1.
Hello, the viewers, and welcome to Podcast So. Joining me today is a very distinguished, cool, elegant guest, Brandie Janow. Welcome.
Thank you so much for the invitation.
You're most welcome. It is an honor to have you with us today. So, Brandie, I heard a lot of good things about you. I mean, I've been reading about you a lot, what you're doing here, how long you've been here in the kingdom. I will let you lead us, to give us just a quick brief to the viewers about your cool self.
That might take a lifetime. So as you
Briefly,
know,
yeah.
I am Brandy. I am originally from East Tennessee in the United States. I went to school, a university in Chicago, design school, as design strategist, as you mentioned. And then I ended up in Washington, D.C. And then my path led me to Saudi Arabia in late 2008. And I've been here ever since.
Wow. So you've been here since '08. So that's like we're speaking about...
It's another world.
It's another world, right?
I never expected Vision 2030 in 2008.
Yeah, so like when you came back here in '08, how was and you're seeing everything become different. How was that?
There was a lot of sand, a lot of desert, a lot of things weren't built now. Now I go places and there's buildings everywhere that used to be just land. I think that's one of the biggest. Obviously, society has changed quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's a lot more open than it was in 2008.
And you came back in '08 as like, what did you do when you first came back?
So I was working as a design advisor.
As a design advisor.
Which is still in the business of design, strategy of design. Yeah.
And now you still do the same thing, but did you
Exactly.
do your own
I
business?
still do the same thing. So I've done many things since I first came here. Whenever I first came here, I started a company called Smug. And Smug was actually one of the first businesses in Saudi Arabia that was selling cultural and heritage off the Saudi culture. So I used to make little pins based off of like Saudi Kawa, Najdi Henna, the Shahi, little cute things like this that as an American, somebody that I told you before that I'd never been out of America before.
I'm sorry. So what is it? Or do you do like coffee, like Saudi coffee?
Yeah, like the little Saudi kawa.
Interesting.
The little funjan with the...
Yeah, wow. And then?
And then I was doing that for a long time. Actually, I just stopped that business a couple of years ago. You guys are well on your way in culture and heritage. No need for that anymore.
Yeah.
I was working for a private company, Adlal, before, which is a Saudi company too. I've been working in the design industry in Saudi since I first got here. Whenever I came here, no one was really talking about design. Obviously, there is many Saudi designers that was here way before me, generations back, architects, interior designers, fashion designers, everything. And I've just focused on that. And I kind of morphed into my own special person. Whenever I came to Saudi, obviously in 2008, I was very young. And I had just got out of school. I hadn't really had a career or done anything before. And I kind of had to morph into who I am today. I had to start doing research. There was no research here. I had to start building the design industry here because there was no industry at all. Everything that I do today, I've just completely had to build my own person and what I do and who I am for where I am.
Yeah. Brandy, I have to ask, so like, when you first came here, did you say, okay, I'm going to go over there, I'm going to do what I studied, design, strategist, I'm going to come here, Riyadh, Kingdom's capital, I'm going to put my, southern U.S. touches, feel something
Absolutely. I
cool.
said none of that stuff.
None of that
None
stuff.
of it, no. So it's so
Yeah.
funny. Like, whenever I first came here, I was doing something completely different that I didn't even study.
Really?
And I was just, like, doing a lot of illustrations and graphic designs. Like I said, I didn't study this. I was self-taught. But at the time, I loved it. All of my business smug that I told you about, all of this stuff I designed myself. I mean, I had my stuff in Urban Outfitters. I did all of the designs for the G20, for Saudi G20.
Really?
Yeah,
That
I
was
did.
cool, huh?
I've had a lot of amazing, cool stories with my design work that I did. That was self-taught. And then it was just so crazy. I got, I was in a position, and it actually was exactly what I studied in school just by coincidence. And I was like, oh, well, it worked out.
I'll do that.
It worked out.
It looks fine.
Yeah.
Wow. Pretty cool. So, I have to ask you, was it like a passion since you were young, or was it like something you just,
Design?
yeah?
I don't know. I mean, you know how it is as a
Because designer are
kid.
usually like people are very creative, orthodox, right? And that's,
I am very creative.
Yeah,
I'm definitely very creative.
I can tell.
I always wanted to be a fashion designer, actually. That was what I always imagined myself. I mean, I'm from like a small mountain village in the Appalachian Mountains of Tennessee. Like farms. There's no fashion designers. There's no business women. Most women don't even go to university or anything like this. So I was already like born in this very different from my surroundings. Always envisioned myself as a little girl moving to like New York City, being a famous fashion designer. A lot of little girls
Yeah.
dream these kinds of
that
things.
was like your,
That was
that's
my.
how you vision that.
That's how I visioned my life, and I always wanted to be. I always wanted to be a businesswoman. I just thought, like, wouldn't that be so cool? Like to travel the world and to like have your own office and these kinds of things.
Yeah. And then like what happened? Like
And then I went my first year. I did fashion design. Awful at it. And by the way, all the women in my family, they could sew everything. They can make this dress. They can make curtains. They can make
the
everything.
South, yeah.
I'm a very odd Southerner. I can't even like.
unique.
I can't even put the thread in the needle.
Wow.
So and I realized to study fashion design, you don't get to just draw it. You have to actually sew things too. So I wasn't going to go nowhere, and I saw that, and then I started. I loved it, and I loved the whole design, and I loved the creativity of it, and all of the classes, color theory, all of these kinds of things. But I realized that I liked the business side aspects of it more, like taking business, classes and learning more about the kind of behind the scenes of the industry, which, as you know, is
So
very
I can
important.
say /entrepreneur.
Yes.
You
Or
got
as they
that.
call me here, a designpreneur.
Designer, I like that. We'll use it. Absolutely. I believe, like, when you speak about design, fashion, specifically back in 2000, 2008, during that era, I want to be a designer, as you said. You go to New York, you go to Paris, you go to
Yeah.
Italy,
Everybody's dream, of course.
Right,
Like, what
right.
happens
This
to
is-
what, 1%?
Yeah, right. And then you're like, oh, okay, I'm in Riyadh, the kingdom's capital. And at that specific time, right, like the kingdom wasn't as exposed, let me say, and known about. It was known about, but not on the same level
Yeah.
as it is now, right? Like
Yeah.
the media wasn't exactly our best friend.
Well, I mean, all you
back
hear
in the
about is
day.
Riyadh and the
Yeah,
whole
right.
Saudi Arabia. I can't
Riyadh,
go
Mecca,
anywhere without
Jeddah.
hearing about Saudi. Like anywhere I travel, Saudi Arabia.
Right now, you're right.
We
yeah.
came a long way.
Yeah. Now it's all over the place. You can walk and as you said, in Times Square, you'd be seeing Riyadh season.
I was in
et
London
cetera.
last summer, and I was sitting like in a cafe, and there was two British guys sitting there, and they were talking about like Riyadh and Saudi Arabia. And I'm like, "Are you guys talking about Saudi Saudi Arabia? And they're
I
like,
lived
yeah.
there, by
And I
the
was
way.
like, I live there. And I was just
I
like,
live with it. Yeah.
I was like, seriously, this is crazy.
True. I mean, to be honest, it's such a cool thing how like Saudi Arabia became like the thing nowadays, and you can see the switch in people even speaking about Saudi Arabia. Even I'm speaking about from the media,
Yeah.
even the people who used to like give hate and lots of.
Well, they still do that, but
they still do that, of
that's
course.
the way of the world. It's not just
exactly.
for Saudi.
But now it's becoming a very, as you said, spoken a lot about, and that's interesting, and in a way. And you were able to actually, you were here since '08.
Yeah.
You caught I'll call them the good old days until now. How was that?
I'm still in shock. Like, I don't know how I ended up in Saudi Arabia. I don't know how I ended up here for almost 16 years now.
Yeah.
I don't know how it ended up being like the place to be. God gave me a solid with this.
Did you expect? Of course, at the moment, at that specific
No,
time.
I didn't expect.
Did you expect that you'll be here for 16 years? That'd be like a couple of years.
No, I didn't. I didn't really expect anything. Like I told you, I had never traveled before, and I was just always excited to see something different.
Interesting. So that was your first.
Yeah,
first
this
time
is
traveling up
this was the first time that I traveled
overseas.
out of North America.
Out of
so
North America.
it was quite different. But I was excited. I mean, I was never scared. I mean, back then you would hear stories and stuff like
of
this, and
course.
I was never scared or worried. I came here, like I said, it was very different. People's mentalities was different, but it's like this in every country. I mean, Southerners have pretty similar mentality to you all. So I think that was also something easier for me as a transition, because Saudis and Southerners are very different, but we are very alike, I would say, in many, many ways. We're
just gonna tell
very
you that,
family
actually.
oriented, very religious, very, we don't like change.
We're cool. Yeah.
So I was like, it's my people in another place.
I have to ask you about 16 years.
Yeah.
You must have a lot of cool stories, a lot of fun.
I do have a lot of cool
interesting,
stories.
a lot of nice stories that happened to you. If you would tell me you're staying here for 16 years, I'm sure there's something, of course, that kept you staying here year and year and year.
Well,
So-
of course. I mean, now I told you I've been to over 20 countries since I've been in Saudi. So I've traveled and I've gotten the beautiful blessing of learning about culture and different religions from all over the world, which it is a blessing if you get to experience these kinds of things in life. I have experienced no country that is as kind as Saudi. I mean, even like you go to surrounding Gulf countries, it's very different from Saudi. People here, and not just locals, but the locals and the expats, one thing that I've always just noticed, people are just very welcoming here. And I mean, everybody that I know, when they come here, they never want to leave. People want 1 year, 2 year, 20 years. They don't want to leave. And plus, on top of just being like a very kind place, people like that. People want to feel accepted and get along. Everybody's very helpful. If I was anywhere, if something happened to me on the streets and I asked somebody for help, they would help me. They wouldn't, ignore me. That's not happening in the rest of the world. So people like this.
Yeah. I can agree. Yeah, I'm a bias on that, but no, I'm just kidding. But you absolutely like. So tell us about things that I want to hear about part of Brandy. Where the story that let me say also you're like, what? I'll stay in this place. This seems like a fun place.
Well,
I'll give it a try. Why not?
Well, like you said, all of the stories, I mean, like I said again, I'm from a small mountain village in East
business
Tennessee.
part.
I never envisioned my life. Of course, I told you the things that I hoped and dreamed, but I never envisioned being like sitting here across from you, being on TV, talking to people. I never saw this for my life. And it's been nice. The people I've met, the opportunities that I've had. You won't believe the people that I've met since I've been here. I've met the most high-level people and just become friends,
Introduce me someday.
Well, you're one of them.
I'm just kidding. No.
So, it's quite a life. I've had a blessed time here. I've got blessing after blessing since I've been here. Opportunities that I would have never got back home. And I don't take that for granted at all. It means a lot to me. I feel like hopefully I live until an old lady and I get to tell, like, you know, my
Absolutely.
stories. I love the stories and the memories that I've got in my time here.
Absolutely, absolutely. We'd all love to hear it too as well. I want to speak also about your business, right?
Okay.
Because, you know, you've made a good name for yourself too. You're doing good for yourself, and you know, from building now to Kingdom Creative.
Yeah, Kingdom
to-
Creatives.
I love the name too, Kingdom Creative. How were
Thank
you
you.
able to get that name too?
Oh
It's
my God,
hard.
it's so random.
Yeah.
So this is how the whole thing started. I was still at my past job, and we were looking, like I told you, we've all been building. I always say we've been architecting the design industry. We've been building it together. It wasn't there. Like we still are building it. We have a lot of work to go. But at that time, it was very hard to find anybody. Like if I needed a graphic designer or if I needed something, I mean, we have millions of people in this city. And
True, yeah.
What?
He's telling me, he's like, wait, when you're speaking this way, the mic is not.
Oh.
So. All right, is this good, my man? Is this good? Okay. You gotta straighten him up on air, no problem. That's how we do it here.
that throws me off.
Everything is live, you know.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, you were saying something.
Okay, so let me ask the question again.
Yeah, ask the question again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was speaking about the name Kingdom Creative or Creative Kingdom.
No, Kingdom Creatives.
Kingdom Creative's right. Yeah. First of all, it's hard to get, and it's actually a very fancy name, right? You know.
Well, that's funny that you said that. So, as I said, that we were all like building the industry here, and we've all been architecting it together and doing all kinds of things, not just the design, but the creative sector as a whole. Everything in Saudi, we're building everything, you know,
True.
together.
Yeah,
And so I was always looking for a photographer, or I was looking for a graphic designer. I needed people all the time, and I knew that we had a lot of talent in Saudi. But I
True.
just didn't. Where are they? How do I find them?
Yeah.
So I just decided I'm going to make this little community. And for some reason, the name that just instantly popped in my head was Kingdom Creatives, because we are a kingdom of creatives. So many creatives, there's so much talent. And then I remember I invited a couple people. They're like, I call them the OGs of like the OGs. They're like the people like 50 plus, the Saudis that have been like
Designers?
Yes, and they've
Saudi designers.
Oh yes, they've been doing it before it was doing.
Yeah, before it was actually doable.
This is why I
yeah.
hate, like, you know, I always say, like, no, you're not the first. You're not the one that started it. I'm not the first. They were
The
here.
pioneers, the
They
actual
are the
pioneers.
pioneers, and we
Yeah.
need to respect them. Absolutely. So they were doing it, and they were doing it at a time when it wasn't easy. Like, we've got it easy. So yeah, and I kind of made this little community, and then they loved it. You know, there was a lot of projects happening, all the Giga projects. People were wanting to know about, like, where's this talk? What about this podcast? How can I find this job? Or how can I connect with this person? I want to do a collaboration. There was no place for us to connect as creatives. And so that's what Kingdom Creatives is. And now we're going on 700 members. And
Interesting.
I have one rule. You have to live in Saudi Arabia. People ask me, and it's very well known here, and people ask me all the time, hey, can I get added in Italy, you know, France? And I'm like,
Nope.
that was actually the point. And,
Yeah.
you know, I tell them the whole point of the community was for our creative ecosystem, was for us here, for our people our talent to find jobs, our talent to collaborate with one another.
Interesting. And a lot of you work with a lot of Saudi talent.
Well, I've become Saudi at this point, if you haven't noticed.
Absolutely. I mean, you do. You also very much, and you know, I like your current designs.
Yeah.
Like, Who do you target?
So the current people that I work for, so the community is something different. I do a lot of community projects. I work with MISC Art. I work with ITHRA. I work with MISC Foundation.
Interesting.
Yeah,
A lot of,
all
like,
of my favorites, of course. So I do
a lot
projects.
of high level,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these are, I've worked with the Real
ITHRA.
Madrid Foundation, high level people. I mean,
So you work local and overseas as well?
I work local. As of yet, I typically do work local. Yeah.
Real Madrid Foundation are like Saudi.
Yeah, it's
okay.
they're training the Saudi youth.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
He
okay.
the director, he's American too.
Really? Yeah. We're speaking about
Shout out to Hassan.
True. Is he from Texas too? South?
No, he's not from Texas.
No, South, okay.
He's the only one that's not
okay.
Southern.
Outside the. So of course, we're speaking about a lot of similarity also between
Yeah.
the South here and in the Kingdom, in Riyadh to be specific. The
Yeah.
weather's probably, I wouldn't say exactly close the same, but
Well, and if you go to Texas, it is very much
is.
like here.
True.
But since I'm from the mountains, it's more like probably like Ebha or somewhere.
Really?
So it's a little cooler for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So you've been around the Kingdom?
I have been around the kingdom, yeah. I was around the kingdom before it was cool to go around the
Before it
kingdom.
was cool. To go.
Yeah.
Before that, before Al-Ula and you, the Red
I've
Sea,
been
and all these
to
things.
no, I've been to Alula several times before it was on anybody's target, and I am. Oh my gosh, I'm so thankful for that. I toured, I explored, I touched things. I went inside places, laid in the tombs. I mean, I
Really?
got like an experience that I highly doubt many people in the world got.
Let me ask you about like places that you like to be. Like,
Yep.
which one would be? Would it be like?
I think
the
that they-
South is like the South.
Well, of
the
course, I
Kingdom,
like the
Abha,
South
or is it-
because
Because it's the South, huh?
I mean, Southerners are the same in
Yeah,
every
yeah.
country.
Yeah.
And the food, I love the food, Southern Saudi food. It's
Really?
the best. I love it.
Interesting.
Everything has its charm. I mean, I like coffee. So like going to Sharjah is great for coffee. They do coffee better than anywhere else in Saudi. Different places.
Yeah, yeah. Very cool. I would personally love to know also about, the places that you would use to visit
Yeah.
back, before, as you said, before the whole, before we worked harder, let
Yeah.
me say, also on making this a very...
Before you appreciated it.
before really touched it and also worked on it,
Yeah.
we admit that for sure as well. I mean, now there's so many places to go, so many activities to do in Riyadh itself.
I'm
Rather alone-
exhausted and
Yeah, right.
overwhelmed.
Yeah, right. There's so many activities going on. It's almost like I'm going to the States. What to do? What show to
No,
watch in
it's-
Vegas?
no, it's too
we
much.
we have it in Riyadh, man. I think it was last weekend we had like this huge boxing match, Tyson Fury and Usyk.
I've heard a thing or
You've
two about
heard.
it.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of you got also the UFC going on here, so there's so much concerts. I mean,
Yeah.
I think also probably like a lot of fashion. There's probably a fashion show. Are there like fashion show that happens here?
Yeah, they just had Fashion Week at Red Sea. They had Red Sea Fashion Week.
Yes, yeah.
It was the first
exactly. I heard
swimsuit
about that.
edition.
How was that? Did you attend?
I did not attend. No.
Uh-huh. Do you attend any like fashion shows here, or is it not really like?
Last year I was going to the Riyadh fashion show that was here during the week, but I ended up having to go home unexpectedly, so I didn't get to see it. But this year,
time.
I'm sure.
Next time for sure.
Yeah, next
Give
time.
me a call, maybe I'll join. So tell me, Brandy, let me, life here, it's as you said, everything's changing. Business is doing good. So like, who's Brandy's community? Is it like local? Is it like, are you now mixed culture? Because now Riyadh specifically, I mean, all the
Riyadh
kingdom,
is a melting pot
it's
of
like
culture.
a mixed culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's great. That's
Yeah,
fantastic.
true.
Yeah.
Like before, I would say actually, like if I go like back 15 years ago, yeah, I'd be like everybody with their own community. They live in a compound, chill,
I've
with
never
that.
lived in a compound. I just want to
Never.
set the record straight.
Since '08. Wow.
I've always lived
Uh-huh.
next to the Saudis.
You got a Saudi neighbor. You're like, hi.
always. I've never experienced anything.
Yeah.
bad, or I mean, why? Why?
Yeah, absolutely.
I remember actually whenever I came here, I mean, there was people here before I came. There was Americans,
course.
Aramco.
It wasn't like
all of
aliens. It
this.
was, yeah, there was
yeah,
actually-
of course. You know,
Yeah.
I wasn't the first. I want to say I'm the first American that
To
ever
land
entered
in Saudi Arabia.
You're welcome. Oh, you're
Yeah.
welcome. But I wasn't. But they were much more. I call it their little bubble, which a lot of people still are in their bubble, where they kind of have their little community and they don't get out, they don't meet people, they don't learn about the culture, these kinds of things. So you didn't see them out as much. I remember when I would come here, like little girls would like touch me. They were just so like amazed by me.
Like,
and now it's like, oh, that old thing.
Yeah. We have 10 of you, you know.
They're
I,
like,
I saw
yeah.
10 like you 10 minutes ago. It's cool. Exactly, you know, to be honest, you know, the country is opening up, you know, there's a lot of different,
Yeah.
you know, multicultural. You'd find
Everybody wants to
Spanish,
come. Everybody's
French,
excited to
American.
come. Yeah.
You know, it's becoming.
I've met
really-
people from countries I never even knew existed.
Yeah, you're like, where are you from again? This place. Oh, okay. Thank you, Riyadh. You know, absolutely. You know, there's a lot of forms, a lot
Yeah.
of events. You know, whether it was on the economy level, on the political level, entertainment level, you know, social as well too. So it's becoming kind of a hub, you know, to a lot of these big events, and that's, you know, people are gathering from different places. Business attract too as well. The economies, you know, definitely the kingdom now becoming a very business attract.
I would definitely say this is probably one of the hottest spots that everybody's interested in. I mean, if I got paid even like a nickel for every time somebody wants me to like do some introductions, I would probably be a billionaire by now. It's just everybody's interested in Saudi. Everybody wants to come to Saudi. Everybody wants to meet people. Everybody wants a Saudi partner, Saudi business.
Hey, 100 yeah. Sure, you know, I mean, money's always good, right? I mean,
Well, you know, the thing is, obviously people
it's
need
more than
money.
that, obviously.
And what it is, I mean, I thought about this a lot.
that's a very cool point. Yeah, go for it. I'm sorry, I'm getting too excited. You know, I'm professional. Yeah.
No, the thing is that, like you said, money obviously brings people to places. People want to, you know, good work life. They want to make money. They want to have these things. But the one thing I think that Saudi really has that nowhere else has right now, there is an excitement for tomorrow. There's a lot of hope. Everybody, you're talking about these talks and things. I talk and I speak a lot at like the creative sector, design events. I'm going to be speaking about Web3 for the creatives this Thursday. I do a lot of things like this for our community, for our creatives here. And they're excited. They listen to you. They're here. They ask questions, and everybody's just super excited. And there's just this hope of building something together, and it's a positive thing.
True.
That I mean, the rest of the world is kind of burning down right now. So it's nice. People, I mean, we're people at the end of the day. We're humans. We're social.
Absolutely.
We enjoy having hope and being positive. And I think that's also what's attracting people to Saudi Arabia is that kind of hope and positivity.
Thank you so much, Brandy. Appreciate
You're
that.
welcome.
But you said it quite well, to be honest. You said it exactly quite well. It's a very youth
Yeah.
country. I would say also 60% of the population are youth. You know,
I mean, I'm meeting people that are like 55, 60 plus coming here.
And they're coming here because, as you said, opportunities is everywhere. Ambitious, life is just going.
Yeah.
You know, and you know. we
And
have a
people
very
like
ambitious leader.
Saudis. They get along well with them.
We're nice, right? We're cool.
You have your moments.
Sometimes. It's like, don't push it, man. Come on, you know. Yeah. You know I do, but probably others are, you know.
No,
much
the
better
I mean,
examples.
people are people.
people are
but,
people.
I mean, I wouldn't
You
have
see-
stayed here for pushing 16 years if I didn't
Wow.
like you all.
Wow. Thank you, Brandy. You know, do you cook?
I do cook.
Really?
Well, a little less than I used to cook,
Uh-huh.
but I can cook.
Back like when you were in the States?
Yeah, no,
you were
whenever
more
I first
active?
came to Saudi, I've always been somebody that loves cooking and culture. And the one thing about culture that I think tells a lot about it is the foods and the recipes and the histories of those things. Even whenever I travel to different countries, I always take like a cooking class so that I can learn a little. I think that's how you really get to know a culture.
Wow.
So yeah, I learned all of the Saudi foods early on, whenever 2008, plus. Kepsa, mandi, salig, everything.
You do salig too,
Yes,
huh?
I
How is your salig?
I think it's perfect,
Top
of course.
notch?
But I learned from Saudis.
Yeah.
So it's not like I was just in there like making things up. And I got to go around and ask a lot of people like different stories about food and stuff. For example, there was an older lady from the South, and she told me a story about like whenever her kids were growing up and she was a young mom, they didn't have a lot of money and they couldn't afford the coffee beans. So she used to say they would take like the date seeds and grind them to make a coffee. So I got to know like this is the kind of beautiful stories you get to know about cultures when you
true.
dig into the food.
True, 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 true. Absolutely. What's your favorite? I gotta ask
It's
you
all
this.
my
What's your
favorite, unfortunately, but I'm not its favorite. I always say you go into the kepsa coma afterwards.
You're in shape, so I don't think you're a kepsa,
That's because I'm doing keto now. I'm no longer cooking.
Oh, okay, you're doing like the very cool, yeah. I mean, yeah, me, you can tell, yeah, I'm becoming a very kepsa fan.
Well, it's delicious,
It's
but
super delicious at the moment. True, absolutely. So yeah, so I learned a lot of good recipes here. You ever like cooked something in the States, like for your family or friends?
I
What was
haven't really
the
cooked
reaction?
whenever I go back home because you know how people are. They're very set in their ways. I'm sure, like,
true.
I mean, I tried to actually, the same woman about that I told you the story with the date seed. I was excited to make her one of my dish. I made chicken and dumplings, and I thought she was going to, like, die. Oh, what is this? So, older people, they're not
True.
really trying. I did take some mamul, and I took some full, and I took just the cans. I mean, they're good.
Ma'moul and fool.
Yes, and so I made like the full like the Yemeni style with like the tahina and the tomatoes, the onions. Like I did this whole
Yeah,
little
yeah,
setup for
yeah,
my
yeah.
grandparents,
Okay.
and they'd never seen anything like that. But I was excited for them to try it, and
Wow.
my grandpa, he kept calling it like the smashed beans. He was like, I like those smashed beans.
The smashed bean.
I was like, well, they are smashed.
Yeah.
But, so they tried full and they tried mamul.
True, 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 true. And yeah, I mean, I'd love to try that too. And I never actually tried it. Ma'moul and fool together.
Not together, not together.
Oh,
no,
not together.
separate.
Okay, okay.
No, don't worry.
I was thinking, I was like,
you're like you
together.
were judging me hard on that
Yeah, I
one.
was like
No.
sweet and salty.
No, don't worry.
Maybe they're good. I don't know. People are doing different recipes these days. And you have a website?
I had a website.
You had a
website.
Yeah.
Yes.
What was it for?
It was called Yes Salam Cooking.
Yes, Salam Cooking.
Actually, I had many.
How do you get these names? They're very hard. Like to.
I'm a creative. I'm a design strategist.
I mean, it's hard to get them. They're usually like
I
taken or
think
something.
of these
or,
things like instantly.
Like thinking, like, what should I call
They
it?
come to me.
Yes, Salam. Bam.
I love that name. Actually, I whenever I first came here, I had Yes Salam Cooking and I had Smug, and they were both quite popular. I mean, I was getting like different stores were sending me like their collections of all of their dishes, and I mean, I was getting really into it, and I was like, okay, Brandy, calm down. Like, you're getting sidetracked.
You're doing good.
You're
doing
getting
good.
sidetracked.
Yeah.
It's another, you know how it is in life. We evolve into different things. We
True.
like things, then we go and we like something else. Evolution of a human. My entire
Absolutely.
evolution has evidently happened in Saudi Arabia.
Tell us about evolution.
well-
so like, Brandy, I'm obviously 16 years ago, I'm not the same person, but I'm sure, as you said,
No.
when we elevate, it depends. Some people become not per se better or worse, but how they grow, how they become different. They're like, wow, I mean, do you think the impacts of the kingdom, the culture, the people,
I'm not the same person I was whenever I came here. I was very shy. You would never expect this now. I mean, I wouldn't talk a lot. I wasn't a big go-getter. I was very much like in my own little thing world, and I've evolved obviously into somebody that takes chances. I always say that I'm the most extroverted introvert there is. I now speak publicly. I do shows like this. I talk a lot. I mean, it's basically my full-time job talking now in Saudi Arabia.
That's pretty cool.
But yeah, I mean, it's not just my time here over 15 years, 16 years. You should evolve. If you're the same person, even that you were a year ago, that's a bad thing. I'm not the same Brandy that I was even a year ago or 2 years ago. And that's good. I always want to benchmark of my previous person.
True.
I want to grow and I want to evolve and I want to be better. And things that I like before are things that I don't like so much now, and I've moved on to different things.
True, absolutely. It's like relationships, right? People like grow out of them sometimes. And
Exactly. You need to know when to move on.
yes, I agree. I agree on that point. Yeah, I definitely agree on that point. That's true. Yeah, that's true. I was gonna be like, yeah. So I'll tell you guys my story. I grew up lately out of my. No, we're not gonna put that. I'm gonna take that.
That's a
out.
different show.
Yeah, that's a different show. Yeah, I forgot. Oh, we're doing this show. It's the show podcast. So absolutely. I mean, Brandy, like, there's so much things actually that are currently going on at the moment. And do you go back to the States a lot?
I go back. I was going back several times a year, but it's also like the older you get, the less you go back. It's so far.
Yeah.
But I will be going back. I'll be going
So what do you do?
back.
You do like Riyadh, New York?
I do Riyadh, London,
Uh-huh.
or Paris, and then DC. I like to take Saudi usually because it's
Yeah.
just
Yeah. Right.
the other
Cool.
airlines are like, what's in a comma? What's this? And it's like,
Uh-oh.
Saudia knows. There's no
They know the whole
problems. It's just
process.
easier.
True.
So I'm just like, let's just
Yeah.
fly with Saudia.
And plus now it's so much easier right now to get the visa to visit the kingdom. I think that's also one of the reasons too.
Yeah.
A lot of foreign visitors are coming, from the States too. It's very easy. It's like, I think like takes like 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah,
to
everybody
to
can
get
come.
it. Yeah. Like your friend, like, hey man, can I come? You ever had someone visit from the States?
Me?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
not yet. But I'm
like, you're
planning
way
to
too far.
Yes, exactly. I'm planning to have some friends come at the end of the summer. So
Okay.
that'll be nice. I'm
Yeah.
excited to show everybody. I always
going
say
anywhere?
that Saudi is like a place that you have to visit it.
And there's the Riyadh summer season or something like that going
Yeah.
on.
There's a Riyadh season for everything.
Everything in the summer and the winter. What do you prefer, Riyadh? Mostly the summer or the winter?
I think we all know what's the answer.
Yeah, what are you talking about? Lady?
We don't like people that
Yeah,
prefer the
60
summers
degrees
here.
is not really my thing. So mostly in the summer, you're like, I'm heading to a place a little bit like even the south of the kingdom.
Yeah.
Abha.
I
Abha has great
I
weather.
haven't usually, I usually do stay here most of the time. I'll travel. I will usually go out for a couple weeks. I don't stay out for like long periods of times. I have a dog. I have a cat. I have
Nice.
things here. I've settled here. You know what I mean?
What type of dog do you have?
He's a little Pomeranian.
Really? You
Yeah.
have a dog and a cat
Yep.
together.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. And you raise them.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they
nice.
get along just fine.
Yeah. I'd love to.
So you can't, you have responsibilities. You can't leave for months at a time. I need
True.
to take
True.
care of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking about that, there's a lot of actually interesting things too as well going on. Here, you been to like Arabic places, like any Arabic countries? I'm sorry.
I
Nearby?
have been to. I've been to Lebanon. I've been to UAE. I've been to Bahrain. I've been to. Maybe that's all I've been.
Yeah.
I think that's all I've been.
Yeah. Do you now distinguish between each country? Like
I can tell
okay.
like where
You can
people
tell.
are from when they speak now.
You're like, yeah, he's
Yeah,
Saudi.
even like looking
He's from
whenever
Hassa,
I,
he's from Sa- he's
yes,
from
whenever
Abha.
I hear people's like Arabic now, I just have like this special ability.
Even the accent. Now,
yes,
you know
I can
from
tell
which,
instantly like where somebody's from.
Like there's of course even within Saudi Arabia, like people from Jeddah speak different.
Oh
people from
yes,
Riyadh
I
speak
don't.
different.
I can understand people more in the Najd whenever they talk, but like if the Hijazis are speaking, I'm like, I don't know what you're saying.
Yeah, you're like, excuse me. Again, translates.
Yeah, but it's like this everywhere. I mean,
True.
Most people back home in America don't understand anything we're saying in the South. So
In the South, it's different. That's different. Absolutely. You've been to Jeddah, of course, obviously,
Yes.
right? Yeah, I've been to Jeddah. Yeah, you like it?
yeah,
Not bad.
I like it. It's
Yeah.
different.
But Riyadh is like had the
Yeah,
same.
that's the thing is
I'm
like
a bias for Riyadh. You know,
I mean,
love Riyadh.
everywhere is fine, but out of all of Saudi, obviously Riyadh's my favorite because we just have, there's a lot happening. There's a lot going on. And I went to Jeddah during the Red Sea Film Festival, and I stayed there for a couple weeks just because I wanted a more calm atmosphere. And I was like riding and doing some work and stuff. So that was nice to go for a little bit. But I was excited to come back to Riyadh. Like all my friends are here, my
Yeah,
car is here,
life is
my
here,
pets
yeah.
are here. My life is literally in
Your
Riyadh.
cars are here.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
car.
Oh, I gotta know.
My little Fiat.
Oh yeah. Okay. I thought your cars was like she must have like a fleet or something, you know,
No.
going on.
Just a
Business
Fiat.
is good, my man. You know. True. I mean, when I like speak about all the things that are going on here,
Yeah.
exactly, I agree with you. What is your dream? Let me say, Brandy. Like, what do you look up? What do you like want to achieve here in the kingdom? Like, when you see all these things going, like there's so much opportunities.
Yeah.
What do you like? You know what? I can achieve this here. I can do this here.
I feel like that's a good question. I feel like a lot of the things I didn't come here with like a list of things that I wanted to do. Everything just kind of happened really
Exactly,
naturally,
but it's just like
and that's
every
kind of
person-
always been my thing is to let life happen naturally. Anytime I try to plan life, if it didn't happen, you know, you get really negative feelings and stuff. And I just
True.
kind of decided I'm just gonna live life, and whatever happens, it's my nasib. I'll let it go.
My nasib, yeah,
And
yeah,
so. I mean, I'm really happy with my time here in Saudi. Like, if I left, I would be like, I lived a really good time while I was there. I had, like I told you, many opportunities, many blessings. I've made amazing friends. Like, my time has been great. I'm satisfied with what I've done here. I don't feel like there's anything, you know, left to check off. I feel satisfied with what I've done so far.
Yeah. That must be a very that must give a person a good energy, like when he's actually sad, like, you know, satisfied of what he's accomplished.
Yeah.
So I salute you on that.
And I mean, it did take me a
Gratitude,
long
yeah.
time to get there. This is just the evolution of this past year. So, you know, I was very like career oriented, business minded, thinking about only what's good for my career. And then I guess, you know, you start getting older and you start realizing things a little differently. I start realizing, well, you know, these things are nice, but they're not what's the most important in life. You know, there's more things that are important, relationships that you make, friendships,
True.
family relationships,
Absolutely.
memories, traveling, all of these kinds of things are really what's important. So I've tried to stick to that and always remind myself, you know, like, what will you think about one day when you're old? What will be the things in your mind? Will you think about, like, this event that you went to? Will you think about this outfit that you wore? No, probably not. So that's probably not what you should focus on.
What do you what like should you focus on?
I think that just connections that you make in life, real connections with other people, traveling, cultures, these kinds of things, your family, you know, sitting with your grandparents, having coffee and talking, all of these things. I think these are the most important. These have become the most important things for me. It's subjective, you know, everybody's different, but yeah, I feel like that's kind of where my mind is now. So I'm less career oriented as I was last year.
Less career.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's actually, you know, a lot of people would say that should be the obvious, but
Yeah.
to be honest, it's peaceful, right?
You're
In a way.
right. It should be the obvious. But, you know, society has really brainwashed, I think, all of us into thinking
make it this-
if you don't have, like, if you're not the top in the business game, if you're not this, if you're not that, or these things matter, you know, don't have kids, don't get married, focus on these things, stay overtime at work on the weekends, you know, answer emails whenever, at all times, and your phone calls. And for a long time, I mean, I was thinking these ways. because this is what society teaches us. This is what makes a good person. This is
Yeah.
what makes a successful person.
Exactly.
And while, yes, you can be successful in those things, and hey, it's important, we have to work, for the exchange for money to live. If you get blessed to work somewhere nice with nice people, you're lucky, but it shouldn't be the focus of your life.
True, true. But I agree. Society have told us that, to be accepted or to be, the best and loved, you got to have this car, you got to make this kind of money, you got to be
And
successful
it's
in business.
exhausting.
And it's hectic.
It's so exhausting.
Sometimes, exactly, it is hectic. I don't think it's a healthy way to live. And what do you think about that? Like social media currently, if you just open it, it's all about these talks. Everybody's speaking about how you become this and this. And let me be very also transparent. I think it's attracting lots of people, right? Like
Yeah.
materialistic things and making it and how
We've
it's
become
becoming a
a
thing.
very materialistic society, and it's kind of sad. I mean, I will say, speaking of myself, not other people, I had two Instagram accounts before. I had my private Instagram account, and then I had my open one, where it's more like I'm talking things like this, for example. And my private one was obviously like, more like private pictures and stuff that I don't want open to the public. And I started noticing me, and like I would be somewhere, I would be at dinner, I'd be at a music festival. I'm always like this. I'm never talking, or I'm doing this, and I look
Exactly.
around and everybody's doing this, and I was like,
We're always
this is gross. What are you
True.
doing? And I was like, okay, so I actually deleted my private account. And I was like, Brandy, if you can't post something on like your open public account, you have no business posting it. And, I have the one here. It's important in Saudi Arabia. Instagram is very important here. It's a very popular app. It's probably one of the most popular social media in the country. So I need to have that just to keep up with the community and everything like this. But the private things and talking about my private life and like even like what I'm eating, and
yeah.
it's silly. It's
Yeah,
silly.
yeah, yeah. And exactly, I mean, society now, it's a bit different. Finding peace, do you think, like, in different society, I mean, right now, I would say almost all the world are very close to, like, when it comes into society and what they want and what's going on in the social media specifically. Was it easier, do you think, for you to, like, kind of, like, find peace, stability inside here?
Yeah.
Like, I grew up in the States. I lived in the States for a long time, and you can be in some place where there's like, as you said, if you're living in Santa Monica or San Jose or
Yeah.
Beverly Hills or you got to keep up. You always got to keep up. Even if you're doing fine, you're eating, you're healthy, you're cool, you're like, it's still not enough. You can't, Is it more
It's
peaceful,
a
do you
natural
think?
thing that, I mean, we don't even notice because we're all like living in this kind of like ant farm. And we're just, when we see social media and we see other people doing it, it's something very natural, almost like breathing. I'm not like making fun of people. I do it. You know what I mean?
True.
But at some point, you start realizing things and you look around and it's almost like you're like in,
Yeah.
the Matrix or something, like what's happening?
That's smart how you actually were able to, realize it, because it's not easy. Not
Well, I mean,
everybody comes to that point.
I think that I'm in the generation, and maybe you are too, where we, social media
Did you just call
started.
me old? Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, like no,
We're
no.
seasoned.
Yeah,
So where we saw like the shift of social media, but when we look at younger generations, I mean, when I look at like people like in their early 20s, for example, their entire life social media has been there. They don't know anything different from
True.
social media,
True.
so they're not going to think in the same way. And it's kind of sad because you can't get mad or upset about these things. They don't know anything else.
Absolutely.
And even like the generation after them, which hasn't even been born, they're called the betas. The betas will be the first generation that's born into AI. Now, this is going to get really interesting. Imagine this generation. Very different from us.
Wow, wow. You got me thinking now. I'll be like, yeah.
Welcome to my brain.
Yeah, you got me thinking now. That would be Something to think about for sure. I mean, yeah, that would be definitely in there. I'm not even trying to to imagine that far in the
Yeah,
future.
it's crazy. I mean, this is what technology is fantastic, by the
True.
way.
It's a
I
blessing,
mean, it's amazing.
it's true.
And this is amazing, us doing this. We're two people from two different countries sitting and speaking, and, maybe somebody will see this and learn
True. True.
something. I mean, that's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't always have things like this. Social media is fantastic. We can learn what's happening instantly.
Absolutely.
We have, cameras that can capture if somebody is hurt. There was somebody that had a heart attack
I agree.
here
I agree.
like a week ago, and it's on cameras. So technology is quite fantastic, but it has its faults, and
True.
it's up to us to, I guess, kind of to learn how to work with it.
True. True. Brandy, how's your Arabic, by the way?
I'm not speaking Arabic. I have this special
Yeah.
Southern Najdi
Yeah.
that nobody understands.
Southern Najdi. Oh, how does that work? How
my
does
own
that sound?
special. I'm not doing it. I've tried many times, and people
Yeah.
say, huh, and I'm like, okay, never mind.
You're there. You're almost.
I'm like, never mind,
almost
forget
there.
it.
Did you find it like? Were you like surprised that when you came that it was easy for you to communicate with people here, especially that you
I
speak
was. That's
English?
what I tell everybody. Everybody's like, "Oh, you've been here 16 years. Why don't you know fluent Arabic?" And I was
They
like,
all
"Because
speak
none of
English."
you speak Arabic to me. Like, no one has ever spoke Arabic to me. Like, everybody speaks. It's more rare for me to meet people that don't speak English than it is for me to meet people. Like, everybody here speaks like English. Everybody.
True. True.
I mean, the radio's in English. This is in English.
This is in English. Yeah. True. It is actually. This is one of the reasons. You need to have like friends who like at least for a week only talk to you in Arabic. You'd be like, "Hi, how you doing? أنا تمام أنت كيفك?" Just to get you,
Yeah.
to do that.
I could survive.
You could
But
survive,
I
so we
couldn't
can
have
understand.
we wouldn't have like a deep
conversation. Yeah. It'd be
You
like,
wouldn't
yeah.
think I was very intelligent.
Where should I go? It'd be like you would get like.
I
you
can
would-
get from
'cause
point
you
A
would-
to point
You would
B.
hear. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, back in the day, it would be easier like if you watched, show. But now, as you
Yeah.
said, also it's a lot
But
of
even
it.
whenever I came here, there was like Saudi shows in English.
Of course, I mean, always,
Yeah.
of course, yeah, too. So it is actually a lot. It's pretty easy for when
Yeah.
non-Arabic speakers.
I mean,
come
even
here to
people that come from other
communicate.
countries. I mean, I'm American, so it's my mother tongue, so I'm good. But like
Yeah.
everybody else has to either learn English or Arabic.
Yeah. Oh my God! So you guys do.
These are like our national
yeah.
our national languages
Yeah,
here.
we
I've
got
decided.
both. You gotta pick one. Oh, we gotta learn English.
Saudi second language English. I'm putting it out there.
It's awesome, Brandy. Brandy, who are the more? Is there like any specific people that you wanted to meet, or that you met? You would be like, I didn't expect to meet them
You know who I want to meet.
here.
You know who I want to meet.
Who?
Who do we all want to meet?
Crown Prince.
MBS, of course.
MBS.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's like, I think it was everybody's dream.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
fantastic.
That'd be cool. That'd be awesome. I mean, a friend of mine was, I think he's French or he's French or Spanish. He was at the Formula, and he got a chance to actually see him up very close. He was like, so close to getting a picture, man. It was
This
awesome.
is the thing. I don't want to just like get a selfie with him
You
or
wanna actually
anything.
have a
I would
conversation.
love to
A
like actually
conversation.
like have a real conversation. He's just so intelligent, and like whenever I hear him speak, like he has such an open mind, and I would just love to like sit down and like have a normal conversation. Of course, I'm not gonna get that, but
You don't know. You
that's
don't know.
that's who I would
The
like
land
to
of
meet.
opportunity. Everything, could happen one day. Why not? Who else did you meet? Let me speak the people that you actually met here.
Well, I can't be name dropping.
Oh, you can't name. Okay. Like at least like
I gotta keep it diplomatic.
Oh, okay. But it's,
I've met a lot of people.
Uh-huh.
I have a lot of friends that I guess are
from the
yeah
from Saudi Arabia.
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now there's a lot of like celebrities also from the States, all over the world, coming over here to perform. guests, in different
Yeah.
aspects. Do you attend any shows here?
Whenever I was at the Red Sea Festival, I got Gwyneth Paltrow. Got to listen to her talk, and so that was cool.
Yeah. But nobody were like, oh my God, this actor I wanted to see.
I'm not a big I'm
You're
not a big Hollywood kind of person.
Exactly. You're like,
So
I'm from the South, dudes. Relax. We don't.
I'm more into people like scientists and these kinds of people that are
Awesome.
like doing things.
We're actually doing
surgeons,
things.
technology, these kinds
really
of
makes
things.
sense,
They
yeah.
excite me.
Well, Bill Gates was here also.
Yeah, I know.
A couple of weeks ago. I
See, that
think.
would have been cool.
That would have been
For
nice.
me,
yeah.
I'm more
See,
into
that,
people that are doing these
Yeah.
amazing things in the world. The change makers, the thought leaders. These are
Yeah.
the kind of people that interest me.
Okay. Yeah. So Kanye West is not exactly on your top list.
I don't hate Kanye.
No, I'm not saying. Yeah, of course.
I do like Kanye. I'm a
Yeah.
Kanye fan.
If you're listening, Kanye, she's cool with you. Yeah. It was awesome to be honest talking. It was fun. You made my job very easy today.
Thank you.
I had a very cool conversation. I
Thank
enjoyed
you.
our chat. I hope you did too. I gotta ask you about the dress before I let you go.
Okay, sure.
This is very elegant.
Thank
I
you.
love the color.
It's
the
from
brights.
Brandy's
It's nice.
Ramadan collection, 2024.
This is Ramadan edition. Of
Yeah,
Ramadan. Okay.
I love my Ramadan dresses. And
So
it's
do you
always-
have dresses for each season, and do you do?
I do have a lot of the Ramadan dresses that I usually only wear in Ramadan. I love to wear these little nice Arabic dresses. They're cute. You feel comfortable in them. They cover everything. Everybody's happy.
Yeah.
They're elegant. They're classy.
Very elegant, yeah.
I mean,
I
you
can
feel like
tell.
a woman in the 1950s that
Absolutely.
was done up. So it's always nice to
Absolutely,
feel like
absolutely.
a lady.
Absolutely. You much deserve that too. So, what is like your style? Let me say. Are you like more of like are you more motivated by the culture, or do you like add
My
modern
style is
American-
black.
black?
Yeah.
Black.
I'm typically like to wear just black pants, black blazer, black shirt, stuff
black
like
and white.
this.
Yeah,
I wear
yeah,
a lot of, I guess,
I like black too. Black's cool.
more old school kind of preppy looks.
Yeah.
polos, khakis,
Yeah,
these
that's
kinds
cool.
of things.
Yeah, that's cool.
Classic things that never. I'm not into the trendy stuff.
Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
you. But like, I mean, as a design strategist,
Yeah.
what do you like get motivated by? What's, over there? What's like the touches that you like? Because this is obviously, you had to be motivated by something. Because you designed this, right?
No.
This was your Brandy.
No, I bought this here.
I thought you said, when you said this was from the Brandy design. I was like,
Closet. Brandy closet
design,
collection.
okay.
I should have went with
My
it.
IQ,
The
I'm
design.
sorry, people. My IQ is a bit over. Yeah, that would have been, still cool. You should have just said yes, That,
Well,
that would have been a good story.
Somebody's gonna watch that maybe made it, and they're gonna be like,
Yeah.
"That's not true. Brandy lies."
Yeah.
So far, I have a good reputation. I'd like to keep it.
Yep, absolutely. Brandy, again, it was awesome. It was very fun talking to you. I enjoyed the conversation a lot. I hope you did too.
I did. It's very nice.
I look forward to watching this episode.
you
after I edit
now know
my-
everything about me.
I'd be like this. Yeah, my IQ was, and some question wasn't. But yeah, I mean, I try to know as much as I can about you. Is there anything that I didn't know?
Well,
What is like the thing that I think that
You're gonna
you
try to open that?
Yeah. Then I'm like yes.
no, that's it.
Yeah,
Nothing else
yeah,
ever. I
nothing
promise.
Brandy, again, thank you. I give you the last word.
Well, thank you for having me on the show. Thank you for everybody that put it together. And thank you, Saudi Arabia, and for everybody that is watching. I really appreciate your time.
Most welcome. Dear viewers, that was the awesome Brandy. Thank you. Take care. By the way, just for the record, she did not design that dress. That was my mistake. And have a good one. Take care.